Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. So today I will be talking about when I moved to Japan in 2019. I lived in Hiroshima for 9 months teaching English as a second language. I worked for a company called Kids Duo while I was in Hiroshima, and I was able to teach the kindy and elementary school children English. So each morning I would prepare a lesson for them and getting ready for the day.
Soccer puppet.
Soccer puppet.
Soccer puppet ball. Okay.
Who is behind me? Living in Hiroshima by far was one of the most beautiful places I have ever seen and experienced. It was just a wonder to wake up every day and be in such a beautiful place such as this. So on my days off, I would participate in as many activities as I could. The Hiroshima Bandori, Kangra, visiting the Japanese temples, and attending the Miyajima fireworks show, and paying my respects to the people that lost their lives to the Hiroshima bombings. The most important factor that I needed was to take better care of myself. So aside from teaching, I was able to focus on my mental, spiritual, and emotional health, giving myself as much time as I needed to process and really take self-inventory of everything that I needed so I can come back to the United States a much better, whole, and healed person. The really fun thing about living in Hiroshima was that Miyajima wasn't very far away at all. It was probably a 15-minute train ride and a 10-minute ferry ride, but it was absolutely beautiful because you can see the neighboring islands and the beaches were always beautiful. Applying self-care and self-love was absolutely critical for me because it allowed me to discover the beauty that was within and to take in the beauty that was around me. It also allowed me to not take life for granted at all. Like, we don't even know what tomorrow brings, but each and every day I was completely grateful for each experience because it was molding me and shaping me to the person that I am ultimately able to become. Miyajima and Hiroshima allowed me to express my creativity in ways I could never imagine. Every day was filled with such beauty that it allowed me to take self-inventory and never take life for granted. If there is anything in life that you have a goal and you want to do, step out on faith, put God first, and watch everything manifest. Do something today that your future self will thank you for. And there's not one day that goes by that I don't thank myself for the experience that Japan has taught me. It's truly been a blessing. So what has life been like for me since I've returned to the United States? As you saw earlier, I moved to Japan in 2019. And I returned back to the United States in December of 2019. And a few weeks later, the pandemic happened. So there couldn't have been a much better time for me to return. I really don't even know what it would have been like if I would have stayed in Japan during the pandemic, considering all the different narratives that was going on. But since I've been back home, during the pandemic, it really makes me fully think back to all those things that I learned and all those lessons that I had to apply to my life while I was living in Japan. So for the first 9 months, I lived in Hiroshima and I was teaching in a school called Kids Duo, which I was a English teacher teaching Japanese children English. Excuse me. And for what it was worth, I absolutely enjoyed the experience. I absolutely gained a lot of wisdom and knowledge, and I made a lot of amazing friends from pretty much all walks of life. And just knowing that everything that I had to go through and had to endure, it wasn't easy always, but I do feel like those times were like the best for me because I had to face a few things, including myself. And that was the whole purpose of going to Japan, not only just for teaching, because I always wanted to teach, but it was more so for me to really like focus on myself, focus on my mental, spiritual, and emotional well-being, because I was a hot mess upon arrival when I got to Tokyo, but I left a different person coming back to the States. I do not regret anything that I experienced or went through, but I will say it just made me more of an overall whole person, which is exactly what I had planned on becoming when I returned. I just felt like there was some I just felt like there were
a few moments later.
So many things that I really needed to like deal with, and I just wasn't dealing with them because I was so in the go of life. And going to Hiroshima was the perfect place for me to escape, to really center in on some of the problem areas that I was having in my personal and professional life. And it just seemed like if I didn't do anything about the problems that I was dealing with or facing, then it was just going to be bad. Like I just feel like I was going to spend the rest of my life being in depression, and that was such a big no-no for me, because anyone that has experienced depression or any type of anxiety, you just know it's like a big dark cloud over your life. So going home and being home, and of course Cootie's explosion, you just kind of take an inventory of where you want to be and where I wanted to be. So with that being said, being home and reevaluating life, it was really, I look back on it now and I just can't, I would do it 10 times over, 10 times over, because it was something that needed to happen. Like, I really feel like it just completely opened me up in ways that I never thought possible. And it just gave me a sense of compassion and for others, knowing that, you know, what I've been through being outside of the country, you know, imagine somebody on that end of the world coming to the United States and it being in complete shock. Because I know what that's like on both ends, which I will totally do another video about culture shock, coming and going, because I've experienced them both and they're not easy at all. But I really wanted to do this video to just inspire anyone that feels like, you know what, I've hit my wall, I've hit the end, and I just don't know what to do. And quite honestly, Japan wasn't like a place where that was like my number one place to go as far as teaching children and just kind of like discovering myself. It really could have been anywhere. I really thought it would be Italy or maybe Spain, but Japan was a place where I felt like I could thrive, especially in my emotional and spiritual well-being. However the case may be, I still want you guys to know that I never gave up on anything, coming or going. And at the same time, I was still running an Airbnb business and taking care of a whole home, even while being away. And with that all being said, it was still accomplished. Like, I never wavered and I never gave up on any of the goals that I ever sought out for my life. I just knew that if I was focused enough, if I put my energy towards it, that I could manifest it. And I did. And not only that, but all the goals that I had set for myself upon return happened still. Even now, 2 years later, I am living in what I manifested while I was there. And it really lets me know, like, wow, this really works. So taking the time to really like invest in yourself and pour into yourself, you totally get you totally get the investment. You get all the good stuff that is attached to it, you know, pouring into yourself. And at the end of the day, there is no other way. So I just want to thank everybody for watching, and look out for the next video. Like, share, and subscribe. Your girl out here trying to make it work. So till then, hope this was a blessing to you guys, and see you in the next one.